It's day 26 of our advent calendar. Let's see what full-length story we have today. My boyfriend's ex hid a secret note and I just found it. My mind is already spiraling about what could be in this note. It could be anything. He could be a serial killer. That would be crazy. This story first came August 27th, 2024. Throwaway account because I don't want my boyfriend to find this. Probably a good idea, especially if he is in fact a serial killer. I, 28 female, and my boyfriend, 30 male, who we will call Steve, have been together for 2 years and we have been living together for 8 months. I was cleaning our apartment when I found a note in the back of the cabinet. For context sake, I'll copy it below. All right, here's the letter. Dear Steve's future girlfriend, I know it's you reading this because he would never clean back here. I'm putting this here because I'm leaving him soon and I want to warn you about him. Number 1, he will not clean. Number 2, he will not listen. And number 3, he will make everything feel like it is your fault. It's not your fault. He's just an incompetent man. I'm leaving him. I suggest you do the same. Best wishes, Natalia. Which is a fake name. All right, so not essentially a serial killer. I think I watch a little too much true crime documentaries, but I should read more. I'm going off and I just need to read more. I read the note and I brought it to him to show him and to hear his response. He immediately ripped it up and said not to listen to it and said that she was crazy and untrustworthy. I told him that the fact that he hasn't found it in the 5 years since they broke up is a red flag to me because it does mean he has never cleaned back there. And that he has been cleaning less and less since I moved in. Where was this hidden? Where? I need to know like how obvious this spot is that in 5 years, someone should be cleaning that within 5 years' time. He told me that it wasn't a problem before the note and that this is just his ex continuing to manipulate and ruin his life and that I was letting it work. We continued to argue along the same lines and I eventually left to spend the night at a friend's place. Steve has been a great boyfriend so far. He gets along with my family. He has given me gifts and flowers and always tells me how much he loves me. He's not wrong that cleaning hasn't really been brought up before. The note made me realize it had been less and less and that we needed to have a full conversation. He texted me afterwards saying he's sorry that I felt like I had to leave, but that it's an a-hole move for me to take the note over our 2-year relationship and leave him and our pets alone. I don't know what to do or what to believe right now. I'm contemplating trying to find and reach out to Natalia. Her name in real life is pretty unique, so I think that I could find her. Steve thinks that I should come back home and let it go and that his past shouldn't affect our future. I feel like I could be the a-hole because everything Steve has said about Natalia does make it sound like she was manipulative and petty throughout their relationship, but I don't know what to trust. Edit. I realized I didn't clarify enough about the points, especially the cleaning. When we moved in together 8 months ago, the cleaning was 50-50. Since then, he's been doing less and less, and I would say it's at like 70-30, maybe 60-40, if he listens to me right away. It depends on the week. Listens to you, so you're just telling him to clean. You're telling a grown adult that they have to clean. That's interesting. Is that interesting? Is that common? Maybe it's not interesting, but I feel like, wait, how old are they? 28. Boyfriend's 30. You're telling your 30-year-old boyfriend when he listens to me to clean? You know what? We've probably all told somebody they have to clean. Here I am, I'm thinking like, I've definitely asked someone to clean before. Anyways. Ignore me. I have to remind him to do things like bring his plates to the sink or take out the trash, and I didn't have to before. The dishes will pile up unless I do them to the point that he's had leftover food mold on the plates. I can't just breeze over that. Yeah, see now I'm having an issue with it again. I am finding that interesting. At 30 years old, you are leaving dishes in the sink to a point where it's molding because you're not doing them unless your partner does. We listen and we don't judge. Just know that I'm judging up here. Like a little bit. I'm not a confrontational person, so I was just asking him to fix it when it came up. The note made me reflect on it more and try to have an actual full conversation. And I will say, I didn't feel listened to when I talked to him about it. I tried to use the note to start a conversation about cleaning, and he got so stuck on that I was listening to his ex instead of him that he wouldn't listen to what I think are valid concerns. He thinks I'm letting the note have confirmation bias, so no matter what he says, I think he's in the wrong. Also, I didn't leave him permanently. This all happened yesterday, and I only spent one night with a friend because I didn't feel like our conversation was getting anywhere last night, and he wouldn't let me sleep until I let it go. I'm going back today and wanted to get advice and feedback before I do. I appreciate all the comments with advice. I'm heading back to our place now. My plan is to first apologize for immediately bringing the note without thinking of his feelings and validate that it is hard to have an ex's message found. That being said, you're all right that I've been letting the cleaning stuff get away. I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to ask him repeatedly to clean. I knew I wasn't crazy. It was pointed out to me that he should have cleaned the shelves it was a shelf. During his move from his ex's place, the fact that it hasn't been touched in 5 years is forcing me to take it seriously. I don't want to throw away 2 years, so I'm going to ask him to come up with some clear cleaning expectations with me and designated chores. I will make it clear that cleaning is absolutely a deal breaker for me. It's his decision on how he wants to respond. All right, let's get to our first update, which came later that night. I'm assuming this is going to be like post-conversation. So I followed your advice from the last post and I tried to have a calm discussion with Steve. When I apologized for confronting him with the note, he seemed to take that as an admission of guilt and refused to listen to anything else. I had come up with a list of specific instances of not cleaning, like many of you suggested, and he said I was using lists just like his manipulative ex did. So yeah, the crazy ex thing you all said was a red flag was definitely true. When I realized the conversation wasn't going anywhere, he even tried to block me from leaving. That's when I knew that it was done and I left immediately. 2 years down the drain, but I'm glad I had the wake-up call before it was too late. I will let him cool off and then I will ask my brother to come with me to grab my things while he is not there. He has a strict work schedule, so I think it'll work out. I am planning on leaving a note there, but that's a little ironic that you're breaking up and also going to leave a note there, but probably a little longer with the advice to not show it to him. I'm leaving it in the exact same place. So if he doesn't learn his lesson about cleaning, it'll come to haunt him in the future. All he has to do is clean. The biggest surprise out of all of this is that I didn't reach out to Natalia. She reached out to me. Apparently, he borrowed his friend's phone to call her screaming that she is ruining his life still. The fact that she blocked him and still had her number memorized just further confirms that he was the crazy ex, not her. Natalia found me on social media and wanted to make sure I was okay and was especially concerned that he had gaslit me like he tried with her. I thanked her for leaving the note and saving me time. We scheduled coffee for Thursday afternoon. I'm so invested. Oh, I would pay. I will buy the coffee. Just invite me, please. Thanks to the person who posted the Love is Respect website. I took the healthy relationships quiz after our conversation and it wasn't great. You called out how he was weaning me into an unhealthy relationship so well. For now, my friend said I can stay until I find a new place. I have emergency savings and a decent job, so I'm in a privileged place when it comes to a messy breakup, and I'm just trying to feel grateful for that. Let's check out some of the top comments so far. So someone asked, what is your experience with point number 2 and number 3 of Natalia's note? Do you see some truth in her words there with your own past experiences with Steve? OP responded and said, he does listen to me, I think. Like when he gets me flowers, he knows my favorite. We have some hobbies in common and we love to talk about them. I feel like the most he is not listened to is in this situation because he refused to get past the fact that I'm listening to his ex over him. That being said, since we moved in together, I do feel like he is putting in less effort when it comes to to starting conversations or initiating quality time. To number 3, this is hard for me to answer. I think I can be a people pleaser and I tend to think things are my fault anyway, but he's never directly said that's your fault when it comes to conflict. It seems like you've had a bit of a different experience then, like not fully the same. Next comment, OP responds to the issues that she has with her boyfriend's cleaning after showing him the note. OP said, I did have an issue with his lack of cleaning and I have asked him repeatedly to clean up after himself and it really hasn't improved. I agree that I should have sat down to have this full conversation about it earlier instead of using the note to do so. I'm questioning our relationship based on his response to the note, not the note itself, as he raised his voice a bit. Also, other people commented about the letting me go to sleep thing, and I'm now realizing that's not okay. Yeah, that went up in my head as a red flag. Like, he wouldn't let me go to sleep unless I let it go. He wouldn't let me go to sleep? What do you mean? Selfishly, I'm hoping this next update is after Thursday when they're meeting for coffee because I want to hear the gossip of current ex talking it out with other ex. There's gotta be more to this man, you know? Before we get to the hot gossip, we're taking a sip of water because it's hydration station time. And you know, I do make the rules and this is one of them. You have to drink water. Cheers. You guys, look how cute my sweater is. So my mom celebrated Christmas with my siblings and I on yesterday, which would be the 21st. I film ahead. And this is one of my gifts. Look how cute. She said she's had it for 9 months. 9 months. She saw it and she was like, it was so you. I knew I had to get it. She said it went on sale and she was all excited. Look how darling it is. Does she know me or does she know me? All right, the next update came the next day, so obviously not the coffee date yet. As you can tell by my original post, I like to do things right away. It was definitely a mistake to bring up the note right away, but doing the things I did this morning right away was not a mistake, as it allowed me to save my pets. First, I want to respond to the comment saying I broke up a 2-year relationship over a note and chores. No, I broke up a 2-year relationship because when I tried to come up with solutions to an unequal situation, his response was to yell and to try to convince me there was no problem except me. The final straw was when he physically blocked me from leaving the house after he was screaming at me. Just saying, I have been there. Someone was screaming and physically blocking me from leaving? Not okay. And what's funny is that at the time, I found ways to justify that was normal and that was okay. No, that is not okay, and no one should stay with a man who responds to conflict like that. The actual update. I wound up texting my post to Natalia last night, and she thought it was great. She, like some of you, asked me about the pets. For context, one of the things Steve and I connected on was our love for little creatures. It's why I thought he was such a great guy, because if he could take such intricate care of his lizard, he could do the same with me. I was very wrong. He has one lizard that he bought before me, and then we bought 2 frogs together. I have a snake that I brought with me when I moved in. If you know, you know. My biggest fear. Snakes. I was planning on waiting until he cooled down to grab my things and the frogs and snake, thinking that he would never hurt them, but Natalia changed my mind. She said that he could get destructive when he's really mad and was concerned about the safety of my little guys. I immediately knew I couldn't wait until later this week, and I reached out for a meeting with the landlord early this morning. I wound up FaceTiming with Natalia last night and we had a long conversation. Natalia is a lawyer and told me that in our state, landlords are required to let me get out of the lease I signed in cases of domestic violence. She also told me that his yelling, gaslighting, and refusing to let me leave are all types of abuse. It's definitely hard for me to sit with that, but the Love is Respect relationship quiz helped me also realize that a bit more last night. Apparently, his constant messaging and controlling over what I wore and when were signs of abuse too. Oh, okay, so really, the note is not the problem here. I think it's just bringing a lot to light. Anyway, this morning, Natalia volunteered to come talk to the landlord with me alongside my brother. As soon as he heard the word lawyer, he was on top of it and said that I could break the lease, but would still have to pay for all of August, even though I'm leaving 3 days early. I felt like that was fair. He also messaged Steve to say the apartment needed to be empty for emergency maintenance all day today so that I could pack my things. I love this. Steve messaged back that he was at work all day and wouldn't be home until 6 p.m. When I got into the apartment, it was a mess. He had broken my dishes that I had brought with me on the ground and left the shards laying about. My clothes were ripped up and scattered around our room. It was disgusting and heartbreaking. He left his lizard alone, but opened the tank doors for our frogs and my snake. Luckily, the frogs were still chilling in their enclosure, but my snake had gotten loose. This made me the most mad, as she could have gotten cut on the broken plates. I feel so fortunate that she was just hiding in the closet corner and I was able to pack her up safely in her enclosure again. Listen, I might be absolutely terrified of snakes and grossed out by them, but I don't want them to get hurt. Maybe an anaconda, because those shouldn't exist. There's no need for them to exist on this planet. Anacondas feel very unnecessary, you know? All my things are packed and I'm writing this as my brother drives me back to my friend's house right now. Natalia told me that she actually left 3 notes, 1 in the cabinet, 1 on the underside of the vacuum, and 1 in the crumb catcher of the toaster. While we were there, we checked to see if the notes were still there. The 1 on the vacuum was, but it looks like Steve did clean out the crumb catcher at least once in the past 5 years. He never told me that he already found a note in our conversations, so it caught me by surprise. Natalia and I left the vacuum note as it has replaced the cabinet one. I wasn't comfortable leaving my name on my new note, so my addition was a handout on healthy versus unhealthy relationships and a QR code to the quiz that woke me up. Natalia said if he didn't find the note in those 5 years, especially after the move, he probably won't find them again. I'm inclined to agree, especially given that he did find one, but then didn't even clean the rest of the house to see if there was any more. Steve doesn't make sense to me, and seeing the state of the apartment really woke me up to the fact that I had no idea who he is. The Steve I knew would never put animals in danger, but I don't think I really knew Steve. To the people saying it's pathetic that I broke up a relationship because of chores and Reddit, I encourage you to reflect on the subtle ways that abuse starts. This Reddit thread woke me up to it and gave me the resources to get out safely before it got any worse. I also made an appointment for a therapist. I'm very lucky that my job has good insurance, so I should be able to work through this relationship, and I am hoping to focus on boundaries and my people-pleasing habits so I never find myself in this situation again. To the people wishing that Natalia and I would get together, we had a good laugh about it. Natalia is engaged to a wonderful man who cleans, listens, and reflects. She said there's a phenomenon that when people break up with their awful ex, their soulmate can quickly follow. I'm hoping that's true. Regardless, I do think I got a good friend out of this, especially since Natalia is a snake mom too. That's my final update. Spoiler alert. No, it's not. I hope if you learn anything from my experience, it's that abuse doesn't start right away. First, there's love bombing, gifts, and pretty words, and then slowly they test how much you will put up with. You should never have to put up with anything, especially moldy frickin' plates. Amen, sister. Words to live by. Let's see what some of the top comments are. Someone asked, Natalia received the assignment Demonstrate Sisterhood and aced the test. I am so sorry that Steve proved all of us, including Natalia, right on how crappy he is. Can you go after him for the destruction of property? I forgot about that. Especially she's a lawyer. Help me out, girl. Let's go after this guy. OP wrote back, honestly, I just want to put this behind me. Most of the clothes were ones he bought me. I thought they were sweet gifts, but looking back on it, I realized he pushed my style out for the one that he prefers. He liked to dress me the exact way he wanted, so I'm okay leaving the clothes behind. I can get new dishes and new clothes that fit me. I have my pets, and that is all that matters to me. That's also true. If you don't really care for the items, it's like, do you want the headache of that whole thing? No. Good riddance. Move on. But we do have another update. So it didn't stop there, I guess. This update came almost a month later, September 20th. I haven't posted in a while. I don't know if anyone will see this, but I wanted to get it off my chest. I'm hoping this isn't too rambling, but I'll go in chronological order. When we went to his apartment, I took pictures of all the damage. Natalia told me I could press charges if I wanted to. She couldn't represent me due to conflict of interest, but that she would find me someone good. I didn't want to at first. Then I saw a comment saying making a report can create a record that would help a potential future girlfriend be believed if something happened. Oh, that's so very true. I would have never thought of that. Natalia saved me and I wanted to do the same. So a couple days later, I pressed charges. The police went to interview Steve and the landlord. The destroyed apartment combined with police was enough for the landlord to evict him. So basically, by destroying my things, he destroyed his life. I work as a physical therapist and my boss was nice enough to give me a week off after all of it went down. I was able to find a new place, although it's a bit more expensive. When I went back to work, Steve was parked in the parking lot. I got out my phone and I started recording just in case. My lawyer said to document everything. I wanted to walk into my building where I knew there were a bunch of people and he was further away. So in my adrenaline, I thought I could make it without him catching up. I was wrong and he grabbed my hand when I was about 5 feet from the door. I see another update coming. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She really is just giving us the full story. At first, he was soft-spoken. He said he wanted to apologize, but I hadn't been responding to his calls. I said we're done and to leave me alone, and I tried to get my hand free. That pissed him off, and he pulled me tighter and started yelling that I ruined his life and that I owed him. One of my coworkers came out of the commotion. He's a big guy and a lot taller than Steve, and so he immediately backed off. I told him to leave and not bother me again, and he left. The video of that incident, plus the security cameras from the past several days of him waiting in the parking lot when he knew my shift started, was enough for my lawyer to get a restraining order. He's left me alone since then. He took a plea deal and he doesn't know where my new place is, so I think I'm finally in the clear. I didn't want to post until all of it was settled. I'm doing better now. I've had multiple therapy sessions. Natalia has hung out 3 times, and the last time Steve didn't even come up. My workplace has rallied behind me, and now I get walked by my coworker from my car to the door. I am so grateful for the support system that has rallied behind me. I wouldn't have gotten through this without it. That includes all of the advice and support I got here. Another update, and this one is very recent. Almost 15 months later, December 12th, 2025. I doubt anyone still cares, but I remembered this account and I wanted to give you all a final update. I care, if it means anything at all. This whole situation changed my life. It was hard to go through, but the advice I got helped me get safe and build what I have now. After my ex confronted me in the parking lot at work, I didn't feel safe and I wound up moving after getting a job in another state around a month later. Everyone who said the worst man predates your soulmate was right. I moved a block from a library and the librarian wound up asking me out. I was nervous at first, but he seemed so sweet, so we met up in a public location. We've been together since, and I didn't know that it could be like this. He does the dishes anytime he's over. The other day, I noticed I was almost out of granola. I internally added it to my list, only to find a new bag the next day. He noticed it and just bought it, unprompted. He cooks for me and still does the dishes after. He has raised my standards and still insists he's doing the bare minimum. My pet snake, Raspberry, is also doing good. The move was stressful, but she settled in, and I got her an even bigger enclosure as a reward for surviving. My new man and her boop noses. I love it. You couldn't pay me. Natalia and I will occasionally send TikToks to each other. That's really the extent of it. I know a bunch of people wanted us to be besties, but unfortunately, we just remind each other of what we want to let go, and there's just too much there for that to happen. As for Steve, besides the temporary restraining order, not much more stuff with me happened. I did contact the police about the destruction of my stuff, but the interactions with them and potentially having to see him in court made me drop it. It was probably only $500 $1,000 in damages, as that didn't feel worth my mental health. I did learn the landlord evicted him and was talking about suing him for property damage as he had smashed some shelves and the sink. He asked me for the pictures Natalia took directly after arriving and said he would try to use them. Last I heard, it was still ongoing. I hate to say it, but the cops probably care more about the male landlord and his property damage than me and my clothes, plates, and my snake. I wish him luck and I hope that he holds Steve accountable. I have no idea if the notes are still there. I hope so that any future girlfriend finds them. Either way, I feel I did my part. This is bizarre. Well, first of all, I guessed that he was a serial killer. And then I just thought the note was about cleaning. And here we are. What a turn of events. That's all I got. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.